Hey, what's up? It's Yirmiyahu Ben Israel. We're going to talk about why black people went into slavery, why these black and brown people are still in oppression to this day. Because it's funny how, in U.S. history, everyone, knows, even, foreigners that aren't from the States, but, from other countries, they know that black people were slaves. They were, enslaved, whipped in chains, shackles and everything, had their kids, eaten by gators, had their wives, raped, things of that nature. Everyone knows about these things, but what they don't know is that the reason why black people went into slavery, it's all in the Hebrew Bible, the Old Testament, everything in between when it comes to slavery. And when you look at the book of Deuteronomy and you match it up to who does this align with more, these false Jews or the real Jews that no one's talking about? Why do you think that you have this agenda now in Florida speaking about going over black history and people revolting towards it? Because it's a lie, and that's not the real history of black people. Everyone has their history. The white man has their history. The Chinese man has their own history. But what about the black people? All we have is slavery, and we don't know where we truly come from. So there is a reason why, we're all over the place. People believe in Christianity left and right. People, go seeking out witchcraft, saying that that is their religion of their ancestors. That's all confusion. There's a reason why, out of all these nations, the nation of Israel is lost. And we're going to explain this. Starting with the book of Genesis. In the book of Genesis, and we're going to go to Genesis chapter 15, verse 13, where it says, and he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. This is a prophecy of the Atlantic slave trade that went on for 400 plus years. I say plus because, black people are still oppressed to this day. Why do you think they had things in place like black codes, segregation, laws, that went against the Most High and treated Yah's chosen people as if they were scum of the earth, when they are supposed to be the tail, and the heathen are supposed to be, they're supposed to be the head, and the heathen are supposed to be the tail. But this is all in the book of Deuteronomy. We're going to specifically go to Deuteronomy chapter 30 and start from the first verse. This is Yah, telling, the nation of Israel what would happen to them, if they kept his law, statutes, and commandments, how, they will be in abundance. They will be, living lavish, being the kings and queens and, royalty that they are. But he also warned them what would happen if they did not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh and went against him and worshiped false gods and did all this other idolatry that doesn't glorify him. He told them what would happen, that they would, go be enslaved by a nation that they did not know, that their forefathers did not know, and here we are today. Here we go, starting from verse 1 of Deuteronomy chapter 30. And it shall come to pass, when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whither Yahweh thy Elohim hath driven thee, and shall return unto Yahweh thy Elohim, and shall obey his voice, according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, with all thine heart and with all thy soul, that then Yahweh thy Elohim will turn thy captivity, and have compassion unto thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whither Yahweh thy Elohim hath scattered thee. And if any of thine be driven out into the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. See, it says in verse 3 where Yah said he will gather us from all where we were scattered at. This is referring to Genesis chapter 11, speaking about Yah scattered us across the four corners of the earth and made us speak different languages because of Nimrod and, his army that he gathered together to go against the Most High, trying to get to the top of heaven. But as I continue this, if any of thine be driven out unto the outmost parts of heaven, from thence will Yahweh thy Elohim gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee, and Yahweh thy Elohim will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good and multiply thee above thy fathers. And Yahweh thy Elohim will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. And Yahweh thy Elohim will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And thou shalt return and obey the voice of Yahweh, and do all his commandments which I command thee this day. And Yahweh thy Elohim will make thee plenteous in every work of thine hand, and the fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy cattle, and the fruit of thy land for good. For Yahweh will again rejoice over thee for good, as he rejoiced over thy fathers. If thou shalt hearken unto the voice of Yahweh thy Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which are written in this book of the law, and if thou turn unto Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, for this commandment which I command thee this day, it is not hidden from thee, neither is it far off. It is not in heaven, that thou shouldest say, who shall go up for us to heaven, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it, and do it? Neither is it beyond the sea, that thou shouldest say, who shall go over the sea for us, and bring it unto us, that we may hear it, and do it? But the word is very nigh unto thee, in thy mouth, and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. See, I have set before thee this day life and good, and death and evil. And that I command thee this day to love Yahweh thy Elohim, to walk in his ways, and to keep his commandments and his statutes and his judgments, that thou mayest live and multiply. And Yahweh thy Elohim shall bless thee in the land whither thou goest to possess it. But if thine heart turn away, so that thou wilt not hear, but shall be drawn away and worship other gods and serve them, I denounce unto you this day that ye shall surely perish, that ye shall not prolong your days upon the land whither thou passest over Jordan to go to possess it. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live, that thou mayest love Yahweh thy Elohim, and that thou mayest obey his voice, and that thou mayest cleave unto him, for he is thy life, and the length of thy days, that thou mayest dwell in the land which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, to give them. Nowhere did I see or read say anything about a man dying for your sins. No. That's not how you are forgiven for your sins. You're forgiven for your sins by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Because had my forefathers listened to Yahweh in biblical times, we would not be in this mess. We would have been the head, and the heathen would have been the tail, and you would have saw a whole different world if the Israelites hearkened unto the voice of Yahweh. But nope. What do we like to do? We like to go against the Most High. We want to rebel. Why do you think these churches love saying, you don't have to read the Old Testament? The law is done away with. Jesus fulfilled the law. So therefore, you don't have to worry anymore. These are devils who don't know Yahweh. As it says in Leviticus chapter 20, verse 23, which we're going to go to right now, where it says, and ye shall not walk in the manners of the nation which I cast up before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. And that's why John 3:16 is a lie. God doesn't love the world. Yahweh hates the world for what they've done. All the idolatry, all the garbage, all the things that go against Yahweh's law, statutes, and commandments. That is a lie. John 3:16 is a lie. And the only way you're going to know this is by reading the book that came before it. But, hey, I just wanted to, show this truth out here. All praise to the Most High that, he allows me to show these people who, want to say, praise JC. But then when they read the book of truth and they hear his words, some are still stuck in the garbage of Christianity. But some others are coming to be because they never heard the true word of Yah. And the only way to get this truth is to hear it from a Hebrew Israelite, a descendant of Jacob. And it's a blessing to be cursed from my forefathers not hearkening into the voice of Yahweh, because it's all part of prophecy to wake up the house of Israel. It's Yirmiyahu. I'm out. Happy Shabbat. All praise to the Most High.